Hello everyone, welcome to another book review. It has been a while since I've done like a straight book review, so I thought it'd be fun to actually talk about The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. And this man is responsible for making a couple books that I really like. I really like the first Law books, The Blade itself, and all those books. I thought they were a lot of fun. Now, these books have a tendency of ending in a very bittersweet kind of way. So, like, it never really ends happy in a lot of these books. And for those of you who follow me on YouTube and TikTok, you know that I talk a lot about Grimgar. And these books from Joe Abercrombie are very similar to Grimgar when it comes to the feeling they give you after you're done reading these books. And yeah, it has that. It has a lot of that bittersweet goodness that I love. I love feeling so much pain. But what is the book The Devils about? It's essentially fantasy Suicide Squad. In the world of the Devils, they're heading closer and closer to the apocalypse. So where elves come in and start killing and eating everyone, and the church is going nuts. Then the church possibly is also part of the reason why the elves are doing what they're doing. We don't really know. There's some implications in the book that say certain things that the elves might not be as bad as everyone thinks they are, which I'm not going to spoil. Go check it out for yourself. We do have one main character that is an elf, and I love her. We'll get to her in a sec. But essentially, the church is tasking a group of individuals to take a girl named Alex, who is one of the main characters, to Troy, and they're gonna crown her the new empress. Alex is a thief girl who is living in like the slums, and she is described by the book is a piece of shit. And I love Alex very much. She's a great protagonist. She is very much a very bad person. And I just love watching her interact with the rest of the cast. Which, for the record, I should probably mention this. 90% of this cast of people are kind of just bad people being forced to do possibly good things. And also, there are people in here that are good that are forced to just go along with this as well. The other example I can use is actually Sunny, who was the elf I mentioned earlier. She is a sweet elf girl who I swear has done nothing wrong. As far as I can tell the story, she's just kind of being forced to go along with them because she's an elf. And they're essentially using her to get to Troy. Sunny also has the ability to turn invisible by holding her breath. And the longer she holds her breath, the longer she stays invisible. Sunny's also really good at stealth. Obviously, she's turned invisible. And she has a really light step. She's very light for an elf. She's thin. She's like wire thin with a big head. And Sunny is probably the closest thing we have in this book to actually a good person. The rest of them are all just kind of assholes. We have Baron Rickard, who is a vampire, who is kind of there in the background, and he doesn't really do much outside of making passive-aggressive remarks and kind of just watching chaos unfold. He's funny as shit. He just says stuff and likes watching people do dumb stuff, and will make, you know, certain remarks here and there. He's like that one guy in your group of friends that goes, hey, you gotta let him talk to you that way? That's fucked up. Why would you let him talk to you that way? And he just wants to see people argue and fight. He thinks it's funny. You see him like throughout the story be like really old and crippled and stuff, and starts to get younger and younger because he starts to drink more and more blood as he goes along in the story. He's one of my favorite characters because he's such a bitch. I love him so much. Vigar is a Norwegian werewolf. She is a massive 6'5" foot tall woman covered in tattoos that warn people about who she is and what she is. And she's just disgusting. She's absolutely repulsive, but she's also terrifying. Whenever she goes into her werewolf form, it's straight up just pure gore. She's killing, eating people. It's awful. It's like OG werewolves. None of this modern romanticized werewolves here. This is pure murder hobo werewolf. It's so scary. Vega also has short-term memory loss and is kind of an airheaded ditz. She's also a humongous hornball, and she will sleep with everything, anything. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a shit. She's funny as fuck, though. Baptiste is one of the characters that's not necessarily being forced on to this adventure. She is like enlisted and paid for by the church, and she's essentially a pirate who has lived her entire life doing multiple different jobs. She's out here being a cook. She's been a grave robber. She's been a pirate. She's been a thief so she can lockpick stuff. She has probably been a blacksmith at some point. She's been, I think, a baker. She's done almost every job possible that you can think under this. Like, she's done everything. This bitch is crazy. She's been a part of a couple wars, and she will brag about it. She humble brags sometimes. She's funny too. She's also one of the few characters in this story that I will say I feel is undercooked, at least from the first book. And I think that she is one of the characters that she is one of the characters that does not have a POV. And I kind of didn't like that. That's like one of the criticisms I don't like about the book, is that she has no POV and we don't get much about her backstory outside of the jobs she has had in the past. She does stuff in the story. She's not like absent or anything like that, but they could be doing a lot more with her. But she's fun because her relationship with one of the other characters is one of the things that kind of like keeps her interesting. And the character that she has a relationship with is Balthazar Ivendraxi. He is a necromancer or a wizard or sorcerer, whatever you want to call him. He hates being called anything outside of necromancer or magician. He constantly corrects people. He is the biggest whiny little bitch, and I love him. He's got a humongous ego. He's basically, if you take Jafar from Aladdin and put him into a group of people and try to force him to be a good person. That's essentially what happens. He has the ability to bring people back to life. Obviously, necromancer. And he can do other spells. He can, detect people. He can block magic spells like counter spell kind of stuff. He can do a whole bunch of shit. His biggest weakness, though, is that he's just has such a massive ego. The problem is his ego's only so massive till he is in danger. Then he kind of turns into a little bitch sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Like he's kind of a massive hypocrite. But he's also just like, I think he's like the best character in the book, if I'm being honest. He's so much fun. And his subplot is so entertaining because each of these characters are bounded by the Pope to magically work together and get Alex to Troy. So magically, they have to be kind to each other, which is one of the requirements. They have to get her to Troy as fast as possible, and if they think about bad things, about hurting her, about hurting each other, they start to feel sick and could possibly vomit. And Balthazar is the one who gets hit by this spell the absolute most. He, at one point, I believe, vomited, started crying, and shot himself all at once because of just how many bad thoughts he had about doing bad things to people in this party. And the spell punished him severely for it. Also, if you think about breaking the spell, it will also punish you, which all he does for 90% of this book is think about ways to break this bond. And it makes him so angry because the Pope in the book is essentially a 10-year-old girl who just wipes black ink on his arm and says like a couple different words, and now they're bound together and he cannot break it. This guy has years and years of magical teachings under his belt, and he knows about magic really well, but he cannot break this bond. And it's so funny watching this guy struggle the entire book to try to break this bond. Brother Diaz, who is best described as the worst monk you could have recruited to a party ever. And I don't mean like D&D punchy monk. I'm talking about he's a monk, not allowed to have sex, not allowed to drink, not allowed to curse, loves God. But he is how do I put this? He's a horn dog too, basically. And he cannot deal with not being able to release his tension, if you know what I mean. It's funny because there's a lot of conversations in this book about how the church forces you to be a certain way, but it goes against human nature to not be in that way. And it's like one of those, it's a very entertaining subplot with Brother Diaz, where he's like super religious in the beginning, and he slowly starts to get broken down through the story. And also, for the record, if anybody's very sensitive to the conversation of religion, this book bashes religion, but also does have moments where it's like, it's not bad. It's essentially the way people perceive certain things about religion that could be considered bad. And it's a pretty interesting theme, because it's not like say like if you read Stormlight Archives, you know what I mean. Stormlight Archive asks questions about religion, but it never outright bashes it. In this story, it kind of takes a sledgehammer to certain aspects of religion. And the last person in this party is Jacob of Thorn. He is basically an immortal paladin, and I don't mean like D&D magic smiting paladin. He's just a guy with a sword and a shield that is in armor who is immortal and he cannot die. And you would think that'd be cool because he can't die, but immortality in this world sucks for him. It's blatantly a curse. Because while he can't die, he can still feel the pain. His body has to heal it off. And it does heal seemingly faster than like humans, but he still feels the pain of every single wound, and he is constantly limping because of the pain of all of his wounds, and he is slowly breaking down like because of all the scars and wounds, and he's miserable. He also has it's heavily implied that he has like one of the darkest backstories because he's done a lot of bad stuff for the church in the past, and he is currently doing his best to be a good person because of his oaths that he made to not drink, to not lie, to not hurt innocent people and all that stuff. And seeing him go through the story with just miserable pain while also having to lead these idiots is pretty interesting because he has to be a good leader. He has to follow his oaths, which sometimes suck. And he's also a miserable man. There's times where he could take stuff like painkillers or like alcohol to numb the pain, but he uses his oaths as an excuse to not do so because you're not supposed to drink. So he can feel the pain of someone stitching him up because he thinks he deserves it. He is a very interesting and sad character, but he is also kind of funny sometimes too. There is a lot of dark comedy in this book. They do allude to stuff like SA for some of the characters that has possibly happened to them in the past, but they make kind of a joke about it. So if that's not your cup of tea, just an FYI, that does happen. I think Alex and Sunny have implied that it's happened to them in the past, and they kind of make a small little dark joke about certain things. Just an FYI, if that's not your cup of tea, that's not for you. But I did personally enjoy. I love dark comedy. I think that this story did a really good job with pretty much most of the comedy. Some of the stuff does start to like repeat itself. They kind of make the same joke a couple times, and it's like, all right, we get it, move on. But overall, I did have an amazing time with this book. I started listening to it twice. After I finished the first time, I started going back through it again because there was a twist near the end. Then I wanted to see if I could spot the twist now that I knew the twist through the story if I went through it again. And there is a lot of stuff that implies what is actually going to happen in the future of the story as well. For the record, this is supposed to be kind of not really a self-contained story. What the writer has stated that it's going to be 3 books of the Devils, and the roster of these characters is going to be rotating. So some of them are going to leave, some of them are going to die, some of them, yeah, they're just, some of them will stay. Like, there's going to be characters that do leave, come back, stay. There's going to be characters that probably aren't going to be in this book and not going to be in the second book, but might show up again in the third book. It's like a rotating cast. Each book is going to come out, I believe, in November or October for the next couple of years. So I think the next book is going to come out next October, like the 2026, I believe, October 2026, somewhere around there. I personally had a really great time, like I said earlier. And if you like team-based stories that is very similar to like basically Fantasy Suicide Squad, then this is for you. And I don't mean Fantasy Suicide Squad as in this Suicide Squad. I mean like good Suicide Squad like stories. Like I think James Gunn's Suicide Squad is probably a good example of like a good Suicide Squad. These are goofy idiots who are all kind of bad people having to work together to do something good. And they will change, get better as people, or get worse as people through the story. And you get to see how they get to that point near the end of the first book. And it is the end of the first book it's kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie. It's good, but man, that ending fucked me up a little bit. So I do overall highly recommend this book if you like team-based kind of storytelling. And I left a link in the description to the Kindle and the Audible versions of these books if you guys want to check them out. Thank you all for making it this far. And if you guys want me to talk about other books and make videos in this format, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you all for watching and have a great day. Bye!